Good day, good day, good day. Hello, everyone. This is Tonya from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure. Welcome to Freedom at the Crossroads. Welcome to the Undomesticated Woman. This is my theme for 2019. Helping women break the cycle, break the shackle, break the wheel of OPE, otherwise known as other people's expectations. Well, today we're shifting gears a little bit, talking about becoming and stepping into your power, making choices, making decisions, taking action. Because you don't want to fall into the mode of playing the victim or creating excuses for remaining on the altar of OPE. Going forward, I'd like to recommend two books that I felt were very helpful, very insightful, not just for women, but anyone who's trying to grow themselves, who's trying to evolve and move into the best version of themselves and really take ownership of who they are, their decisions and things of that nature. And the first one I want to recommend to all my sisters is Rise, Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell. Now, sometimes I feel like you have to be in a certain place to receive certain insights, particularly when they're of a spiritual nature. When I first started reading Rebecca Campbell's book, Rise, Sister, Rise, I felt like it was too woo-woo and too out there. But then, I found myself focusing on certain aspects of the book, and others I just was like, okay, that's just too woo-woo for me. And I feel like any good book, the mark of a good book actually, is when you find different portions of text that resonate with you on a deep emotional and spiritual level, and every time you go back to the book or you reread it, you always find something new that maybe you missed, when you previously read the book. But that aside, I highly recommend it because it gives some good insight. Now, that's not to say that I agree with everything that's in her book, to each his own, but that is a book I would highly recommend. The second one is by Don Miguel, and it's called The Four Agreements, and I found that to be a very powerful book in terms of breaking shackles of OPE, and it gave real insight into the subtle agreements, the silent agreements we make with people, with society, with our relationships that can be either toxic or healing. And so those are just two books I want to throw out there for anyone who's starting on their journey, who wants some insight from something outside the norm and really interested in getting insight on their own state of mind, their own spiritual being, and really opening your eyes emotionally, spiritually on all levels. So those are two books I'd like to, throw out there. Now, moving back to, the Goddess Awakening, the Undomesticated Woman, I want to say something that I feel is very powerful and very insightful, especially when it comes to the notion of self-care, particularly physical fitness for women. Anyone who's alive right now is, constantly inundated with all the ads on weight loss pills, weight loss diets, weight loss programs, and, eating certain things. There's the keto diet, there's the vegan diet, there's the Mediterranean diet, and all of these different things. And one important aspect that all of them fall short on is the internal, and stressing the internal, and they all have their reasons why. A lot of this marketing is targeted at our insecurities, our fears, and ultimately OPE, other people's expectations, other people's perceptions of you, how they value you, based on what you see. And that just keeps you on that wheel and shackle of OPE. It just keeps you on that hamster wheel, going nowhere. It does nothing for you spiritually. It does nothing for you emotionally. It does nothing for you mentally or internally, and it definitely does nothing to empower you. And that's why I'm so, oh my gosh, I am so passionate and full of activist inspired fire, because I know that that's not really what is bothering us women. I know that's not the ultimate thing that we need. I know it's so much deeper than, a physical fitness, or, how you look, or how flat your abs are, or how tight your butt is, and all of that. It's not about that. It's about power, reclaiming your power on all levels, reclaiming your space, setting boundaries, taking ownership of who you are, and saying, hey, I am a human being worthy of respect and basic human decency. I have needs, I have wants, I have desires, and hey, I am human. Hear my voice. I have a right to the table. I have a right to speak, to give voice to who I am, to exist in the space that the universe has designated for all of us. And ultimately, when you are growing and developing yourself into who you are called to be, into the best version of yourself, not steeped in useless and I want to say pointless competition with other women like crabs in a barrel, which, by the way, our patriarchal and misogynistic societies tend to perpetuate to continue to disempower women. But that's a whole nother story. But physical fitness and all of that, it's very good. It's, what keeps you young, what keeps you active, what keeps your body, at optimum performance. But it is the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional development that are the driving forces that fuel the sustainability behind the fit lifestyle. And this is something that I stress when it comes to programs I've created with clients, and for particular clients, all women, because I only deal with women. But this is a crucial, critical portion of true fit lifestyle, true healthy living, and true wellness. You have to start with the internal in order to create the fuel and the juices and motivation to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And that's ultimately why a lot of these so-called diets, all these weight loss plans and things of that nature, people eventually fall off the wagon, particularly women. They get frustrated, they get depressed, they begin to feel like failures, they feel guilty because they are relying on the external to drive something that is internal. And ladies, that's OPE. And, OPE takes so many different faces and wears so many different masks. And it is my mission to unmask OPE in all of its iterations, in all of its forms and, agendas. All the patriarchy that underlies and ties and binds women into places and spaces where they are disempowered, where they become frustrated and fighting, boxing, shadow boxing, essentially. because, they never ultimately get to the real enemy. And the real enemy is OPE. And making, and I put that in quotes, sustaining those relationships, those agreements with OPE, instead of breaking the wheel, breaking the cycle. And that's what is ultimately needed. And once again, ladies, this is power. This is the power of being an undomesticated woman, the power of being a woman who has broken conditioning. And I'm going to stop here on another cliffhanger, because I'm going to remind you once again of what's coming in the next season, coming up for the summer, where the huntress begins to arise. And for those of you who are wondering, stay tuned. This is Tonya from Fame at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure. Welcome to the weekend. Rise into your power, women. Rise and break the cycle of OPE. Until next time, bye-bye.